and Tuesday, another blues day. Wednesday's getting better, Thursday doesn't matter, and Friday is the last day. And then it's W-E-E-K-E-N-D, it's weekend. W-E-E-K-E-N-D, it's weekend. W-E-E-K-E-N-D, it's weekend. W-E-E-K-E-N-D, it's weekend.
Welcome back home, everybody. Gather around, children, gather around. I got all my little favorite potions and poisons here today. And yeah, you're joining us for yet another hour of brunch-filled love here on The Club with Lucas. Welcome back, everybody. This is Saturday Brunch Extravaganza on The Club with Lucas. And how is everyone doing this morning? If you're here in the city, it is the end of June in Barcelona, Catalonia, Spain, Europe, world, planet, bitches. But it's a bit balmy today, so keep yourself dry and make sure you take your umbrella, if you're going out, everybody. And thank you for joining us here at R to the C to the E, 106.9 FM here in the beautiful state of Catalonia. I'll be joined in just a minute. My sister got a little bit sidetracked with the directions. So bad, it's probably my bad. But my girl, singer, musician, massage therapist, therapist, and general president of Barcelona Women's Network, Carrie Lewis, is going to be joining us. So we're actually going to be hearing some of the music that she does with beautiful instrumentalists that we know here in the city as well, and have had featured actually some of his background music in our show before. So I was proud to see that she's working with this brother. So yes, kids, we've got a lot to get to and all types of stuff because we're going to be talking about business talk with her as well as the creative mindset, because Carrie Lewis, as I just mentioned, she runs the gamut in reference to business, therapy, massage therapy, running this. She's also a single mother, and she's a singer, writer, and musician. So she has been here for a hot minute in this Barcelona. It's about damn time we had her here. Remember, folks, you can follow us and our beautiful, what we do so beautifully at The Club with Lucas on Instagram and TwitX at The Club W Lucas. Plus, you can always find the tunes here at 106.9 FM in the beautiful state of Catalonia and rce.cat. Or watch us with your papers at TubeSite, our YouTube, at TubeSite, what the hell? At our YouTube site, RCE 106.9 FM. So much to serve up, so much news to talk about as well, because some good things finally happened here again in Spain and Catalonia, but some really other stuff that was not so good happened in the country where Carrie and I were born. We'll talk about that. Pitter patter, let's get at her as we do. Another shout out to a sold-out show at Tinta Roja Theater yesterday in Puebla Sec. Lady Nicole Collars, also known here at her stage name, Tesla Nix, because we're about to play some of her music, killed it. And I mean, she brought down a tour de force performance that she wrote and produced, was directed by Sir Javier of the Meisner Institute here in Barcelona. And it was, like I said, a sold-out show. But there were not a dry eye in the house and a little bit of moist panties because we were also laughing our bums off. But Lady Nicole, thank you so much for bringing power to that, because you were bringing power, and it really did hit home for a lot of people. It was a show that she's called Fickle Eulogy, and it was a complete success. And then I would need to give mad shout out love to Sophie and the people of Manos Rotas in Puebla Sec, Michelin star restaurant, and oh my God, Sophie. So anyway, enough said. Latest lady Nicole Collars, also known as her stage name and musician name as Tesla Nix. This has got a break only here in Barcelona at 106.9 FM, and we'll be right back with some news you can use, folks. English.
the depths you go. You've lost the feeling, baby. Like a feather in the wind, wherever it flows. And all is said and done, where are we now? How we faltered from the simpleness, couldn't bother to back down. Got to break these chains. Best be on my way. Free, free, free. Ooh, your walls are bright. I wanna break them down and see inside. Gotta mix it up, decipher your words, give us some meaning to this mess. How we faltered from the simpleness, couldn't bother to back down. Got to break these chains. Best be on my way. Free, free, free. Gotta break. Wrong or right, yeah. Got to break these chains. Best be on my way. Free, free, free. Got to break these chains. Best be on my way. Free, free.
I love that. And the ending's always perfection. Again, that was Tesla Nix, and you can catch her music as well and some new releases that she's got coming up at Spotify and Tidal and everywhere where good music is streamed. Now let's get to some folks and some news that we can get to, because the folks that we need to talk about actually are President of Spain, Pedro Sanchez, and the Pepe leader, what's his name? Feijóo is his name, whatever. Now, here's what's happened what happened in the last few days was there was a negotiation breakthrough that finally put a 5-year paralysis on stop in Spain's judicial mandates and governance. The Socialist and the Pepe, the People's Party, whatever, the Pepe, are now in a hurry to put into action what they've agreed on: the renewal of 20 members of Spain's CGPJ, also known as the General Council of the Judiciary here, which pretty much mandates our Supreme Courts. And it's a reform of the Spanish law governing judicial power. Now, the Spanish Constitution that we all live under stipulates that the months of July and August are months without parliamentary plenaries. So the two major parties do not want to waste time, and they've convened and converged on the happening of 350 deputies of Congress in 4 sessions throughout this next month, commencing the next week, that will be doing their attempt to approve the law changes that they've been agreed upon. Okay, so the idea is to reinforce the guarantee of independence of judges and public prosecutors. This is not always an easy thing here, especially in Europe, because we also have to follow the mandates of the European Union. Now, in total, these 20 new members will be as such: 10 approved by the Congress and in the lower house, and 10 approved by the state in the upper chambers of the parliament. Each chamber will be choosing 6 judges and 4 lawyers of the 10 that I've mentioned, 10 and 10 apiece, of absolute recognized ability. Now, this is again, this has not been since before the pandemic. This was not able to happen. There's been no judicial constitutional mandates. Not constitutional mandate. There've been no judicial governance that's really been, foolproof for the last 5 years, truly since 2019, so before the pandemic. So what has happened finally is another win for Mr. Lipschitz, Pedro Sanchez. So power to the people, because this is a good thing. Now, the initiative idea, apparently, is that they will have an unbeatable majority of 257 deputies out of the 350. I believe that those 257 will be mostly PSOE with some Pepe as well. Now, the deal, as I said, ends this 5-year expired judicial mandate, and in theory is going to be re-injecting so much more material, so much money, many more cases that had not been there in the city, that had not been there, approved rather, by the state. So all of that, as of this week, has changed. And again, it does play into the favor of Mr. Sanchez. Now, obviously, I need to talk about the debate heard around the world. And my queen, Lady Lewis, is in the studio. She's in the studio and she's like looking at me and telling me, talk about that. I ain't gonna talk about that. So, the two pretty much octogenarian members of candidacy for the United States of America had their first debate. Public debate. It is also the earliest in modern history since the debate started in the 60s. It's never been held in June. It's usually held closer to the end of the summer, and then another one before October. Well, this happened in June, and Mr. Trump was going around saying that he was getting his preparation by doing his rallies and talking about sharks and electric boats sinking and whatever the hell he talks about. And President Biden was locked away in Camp David. And he was reviewing with lots of people who were actually standing in for Trump. And lo and behold, on Tuesday night, he starts feeling iffy, according to sources out of CNN. And The Guardian, actually. So CNN and Guardian sources say apparently he started feeling iffy on Tuesday. By Wednesday, he was not well. They were hoping it was just a 24-hour bug, and he was still sick on Thursday. So apparently he was on the mend with meds on Thursday, but President Biden came out, and he sounded so raspy and hoarse-voiced. It was not comfortable to listen to. And within 90 seconds, the, reels on Insta and TikTok and Twittex went berserk that something was not right. And apparently 12 and a half minutes into the thing, everybody was saying, okay, we're going to have to back him out. We're going to have to back him out. He cannot be representing us because, well, the fear is that he does not have the intestinal fortitude and stamina to do these kinds of things. Well, it was not good. And what happened was that it was the lowest rated viewership since the 90s of debate ever. In fact, it was the lowest per capita viewership since the debate started on television since the 60s. In fact, what they're saying is that only about 30% of the voting population of the last vote watched it. So there was about 50 million people who watched it, and in theory, there was 155 or 156 million who voted. So many people are saying that this is not something that we should be throwing off at the moment. That maybe it was just because he was sick. Now, when I rewatched it, because I'm a nerd and I tutor and I report on this stuff, so this is what I do. I go down rabbit holes. I felt that he did get stronger as the 90 minutes went on, but I felt like there was actually a spiritual thing going on there. It was kinetic, like his energy could not combat the negative energy of Trump, and I really feel that. And you can see it when he's looking at him perplexed, like, what is this man talking about? And nobody fact-checked him. Nobody fact-checked Donald Trump. So while Biden was weak and hoarse-voiced, and obviously he was coughing, and you could tell the brother had a cold. I think it might have been a flu. He had a cold. And he got mixed up and muddled. I think he was over-prepared, and he was mixing immigration with abortion, with Supreme Court. It was just not happy. But Donald Trump could not stay on task. He never answered one question that was proposed to him. They had to re-ask the questions 2, 3, or 4 times, and they would not get an answer from him. So, but he had a stronger voice. So here's the thing. The truth teller with the raspy voice lost the debate. And the man who lied, according to Washington Post fact checkers and CNN fact checker, 53 times, won. No. So then yesterday, they both go do rallies, okay? And I don't know if this is going to come out well on the speaker that I'm going to use right now, but this is exactly what I was hoping we were going to get on the night that Biden had his speech with Trump in the debate. Now, I'm going to turn it up and see if this plays at all through my mic. And this is test. I'm just throwing this, and I probably should not have done this without telling my tech man, Edward, forgive me, please.
Who left office with fewer jobs than he started. Herbert Hoover was the other one.
No.
That's why I call
¿Puedo escoltar o no?
Hoover Trump. And then he lied about how great he was for veterans. But then I told him how he had called a veteran who had given their lives in the country in World War I and refused to go to the grave sites. He called them suckers and losers.
This fire came out of him yesterday in front of thousands and thousands and thousands of people at a North Carolina rally, and it was insane. It was like, who the fuck was this man? It was this ghost on the stage with this evil, corpulent piece of crap next to him, and then he comes out with fire and brimstone in front of thousands of people, and he went on and on and on for over an hour. So it was a very interesting comment. Now, on the other side of the country, Donald Trump went on having those weird things that he does when he has to. Honestly, it does give me some compassion when he fritzes out because something's not right. But he went on talking about sharks and this woman who died and got her leg chopped off, and how electric boats are going to sink, and how our country's gone to hell, even though we have the strongest economy that we've had in years. Nothing made sense. So at some point, I think while good things are happening here in Spain, odd things are happening on the other side of the ponds and the countries. And I really, really wonder if the Brexit thing, because 5, 6, 8 years ago, Brexit was really a counterpoint to what was going to happen in my country, and it happened. And now they're saying that the leftist Labour Party is going to win in Britain. And could that be a future fortune-telling experience for what will happen in November? We have no idea, but the debate was horrible, and yet yesterday President Biden came back with full force. We'll see if that full force continues, but for now, we're going to continue with a little bit of music. I've been on this weird Frisco disco kick for a week now, so I'm going to throw you some 70s Frisco disco, and tell me you do not hear some of the house music that has sampled this since the 90s. This is a little offbeat. They had 2 hits, a little offbeat disco outfit called Rare Pleasure from the mid-70s, and this is Let Me Down Easy, and we'll be right back with President of Barcelona Women's Network, Carrie Lewis, joining us in just a moment.
Say what you gotta say. I know she's a real
After the summer. Again, mad shout out to everybody who was there at Tinta Roja, but I am being joined in the studio finally. It's only been a few damn years by Lady Carrie Lewis sitting up in here. If we can give a shout out to my girl, Carrie Lewis. If you're watching us with your peoples, you can see her now or not. Can you see her now? Carrie Lewis, thank you so much for being here.
My absolute pleasure. Jumping in.
And I'm jumping in, and seriously, and we will be presenting more music as well, because Carrie is also singer, musician, therapist, massage therapist, and president of Barcelona Women's Network, recently established as that. And so you've got magic fingers and hands, love.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
But I'm really, really blessed to have you here. And she's saving a brother like nobody's mother. So thank you again for doing that. Now, let's talk about that. Because when we come into this type of change in life, which we said came out of a podcast talking about this.
You want to talk about my menopause? I'm not there yet. Anyway,
We're going to
what
talk about
change
my
in life are we talking
menopause. Why do they call it men? They should pay womenopause. What's it? It's terrible. Well, we're not going to talk about that. We don't believe in that in Los Angeles
The
and New
Greeks
York
probably
City.
have something to do with it.
Right.
You know?
Like hysteria and all that shit. But when you go and you take over the lead from one of another queen, Karen Holiday, shout out. We love you so much, Lady K.
Love you, Karen.
And to take over this project, because you have been here, you've been established here for a hot minute. You've created a successful business. You've created you're a successful single mother.
Well, separated mother, we like to say.
Separated mother.
Just because the single mothers who are doing it on their own, I'm not going to steal the glory from those babes because they're amazing. I actually have a very involved ex who's an awesome father to my
Thank you,
kids.
Dad.
So
Amen.
yeah, I'm going to
Amen.
make that distinction.
I love it. But the cumulative, and that's one of the things we were talking about in the podcast I had to record just a minute ago. It's the cumulative of things that can sometimes make or break us. How do you keep the rhythm and the roll going?
Oh my goodness. My dad used to ask me, do you ever just, park it on the sofa? Watch a movie, Carrie?
My dad says the same thing.
Yeah. So I think we kind of have that in common, perhaps. We probably have a lot of things in common, Lucas, and I can't wait to keep discovering them.
Amen.
But no, I also, a good friend, Ashley Peeler, she's like, you don't sleep, do you? I could probably sleep a little bit more, but I just have a holy passion for the things I'm so lucky to do in life.
Where does it come from, do you
Basically.
think? That passion.
I mean, I'm a Taurus, so probably pleasure centers. I take a lot of pleasure in what I do. I learned pretty early on that our dreams are just the things that we want to, like, it's not some grand thing like, I'm living my dream. I am living my dream every day when I get to go to work and do something that I love and adore to do.
And helps
So-
people too.
And helps people too. Yep. So,
But also Barcelona Women's Network too does that. And I have to say, Taurus, I'm a Taurus too.
oh, that's right. I knew that. at
May
one
the
point.
4th. And when is yours?
I'm
If I
April
may?
20th.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, you get right in there.
Yep.
420. What a lovely day.
Some celebrate more than I do,
Yeah, yes,
probably.
Probably. I don't. I would never do that. But Barcelona Women's Network has been instrumental, certainly over the last years, before the pandemic, but throughout, in helping affect change and connection and networking and creating stuff that also helps women in general. How did you get involved with them in the first place?
Well, I'd kind of heard about them, but I arrived here in 2001. So just as the Euro was coming in on the scene.
That's damn right.
Yeah, it's been a while. Like, as you said, a hot minute.
She graduated high school and came right here.
Oh, yeah. I love you. And my, barely visible crow's feet also love you.
She's like,
But yeah, no, I popped over here. I was just so young, but it was a really good time to come over and start
You
singing
think?
in the
2001?
street. Actually,
was it before 9/11?
oh yeah,
Wow.
no, it was just after. Sorry,
after.
Yeah, just after. It was crazy. It was crazy. I'd been living in. I'm from
believe.
Portland, Oregon. I
12:34,
was living
kids.
in Santa Barbara, California, for about 5 years.
Santa Barbara.
Santa Bubble.
That city can change people. I find it
changed
very
me.
healing. That
Yeah.
city.
For me, it was.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Emmylou Harris. I have never cried more in a concert than Emmylou Harris at the ballroom in Santa Barbara.
Oh my gosh.
And the entire drive to Santa Barbara, a school of dolphins. The entire ride, for 2 hours from LA.
Wow,
Okay,
they
I'll
were
shut
going to
up
the
now.
concert.
With me.
Like,
They spoke to my soul. Please
Oh my
tell
gosh,
me
I could talk about
that.
Santa Barbara. I could talk
I
about
love
dolphins,
Santa
all of
Barbara.
the above. Yeah. No, and it was healing for me too because I came down as like this, I don't know, pasty, ironic grunge gal from Portland, Oregon, you know? And
I do.
was,
I love my pasty grunge girls from Portland. Are you kidding? Yeah.
yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
I came down and I was just like, who do these think they are? They're all tan and yoga and they're so skinny and shaved and all this stuff. And I was just like, and then I let the Santa Barbara healing begin. You know, I just started, enjoying my body in the sea. Because you only get paid in sun dollars, and the rent was so expensive there. So I ended up having to get a corporate job, not through nepotism, but actually through the, sweat of my brow and stuff. And I
was headhunted.
raised through the ranks at
Wow.
a Mormon company that was a personnel agency. I started as a receptionist, ended up as the supervisor of workers' compensation, which allowed me to say, guys, I'm going to need to speak Spanish. And so they sent me for Spanish classes. I loved my Peruvian teacher. He was amazing. And I was like, I also, so finally, basically, I finally had the money to go to massage school, which is something I'd wanted to do since I was 16 years old.
Okay.
And so
What bred that?
that was actually because, well, first of all, let's just go back to the tourists,
Okay.
the pleasure centers.
you go.
I mean, I'm so glad I have a body because my mind can just like fly all around in the ether with a lot of exciting ideas. But, to get grounded in the body is so important for me. And so because I studied a lot of music, I studied a lot of singing and theater, I always say that back in the day, really only the performers and the sports people were the ones doing anything like mindfulness, mind-body connection. Because we were performative. We had to prepare the mind and body to go out and perform. So we did stuff like, relaxation. We did stuff like waiting backstage till we were finally getting, to go on for our part in the crucible or whatever. And so we, had a lot of time to rub each other's shoulders. And I was just like, what? This is a job? I can do this for a living?
And make good money off of it.
Amazing. So it's very flexible work. Been great for being a mom, been great for being a singer and not having to do whatever pachanga came down the pike. I can kind of pick and choose. So
Why Barcelona? What brought you here from there then?
I had lived in, actually I'd finally gotten to, after being fascinated by the feeling of Italian in my mouth when I studied the bel canto when I was like 12 or 13 to prepare as a singer. I do not do that now. All these colors now that are in my voice came more from the Barcelona street than having studied with Liceo's top sopranos. I don't know if I can hit those notes anymore. But
And you had studied with them.
no, but I studied bel canto. I studied like,
canto,
because
certo.
a suburban girl, you were sent to like, okay, study the pure stuff first. My mom is also a singer, so, but I loved the Italian. I didn't get to Italy until finally being in university. I always say that my university was grunge because my university years were spent just like couch surfing and going to shows. But I did finally land in university at the ripe age of 21 or 22. And when I was there, I finally entered into a program and went to Siena, actually, and did supposed to be there for 9 months to do a study abroad program. But my stateside boyfriend was starting to pass notes to a girl in his philosophy class, and I was like, I better get back home. My dad was between jobs, and so we just went to Fiumicino Airport and said, where should we go? He's like, I remember Barcelona was kind of cool when I came here in 62 and then brought back your mom in 68. Let's go there. Okay, let's do it. So.
You are kidding me. That's the story with your daddy?
I mean, can you tell? I probably can fill in even more details. I'm like, Carrie, shut up.
That's
But
beautiful.
yeah, no, me and my dad had the Barcelona, like that was our father-daughter bonding. And I saw the music in the streets. I was like, this is much more chill. We went to Madrid too. I was like, that's overwhelming. Too many cars.
Okay.
And I was just like, Barcelona, I feel like you and I could have a relationship.
My dad and I, my father, when he's here, he lives with me and he just retired. And so I completely understand that. Madrid, I need every once or twice every year or so. I need that energy. I need that New York City style.
Yeah.
So I hear you.
Yeah.
That's not for you.
I mean, it probably is, but it was just an impression that from the beginning of my time in Spain. And I think I still have to go back and correct it and just like live up in Madrid like I should.
Straight up.
Yeah.
The next question is the singing.
The singing.
One of the things you sent me a beautiful playlist that I went through, and I forgot about a year and a half ago, we talked about our love for Tom Waits and certain other artists as well. And then this one was on the list. Now, you played with Tony Pedrol, who has worked with some of the best here in the city as well. And so you actually do the choosing and the singing, and he accompanies you on the guitar.
Oh man, he really helps with the choosing as well, I gotta say.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he's amazing. He's actually I mean, and speaking of Tom Waits, which we will speak of, but I mean, our Tony, he's a total working class hero. He works on the trains and the metro. He doesn't tell everybody that, but every day he's like down there fighting those big metal beasts into functioning, and he is
Thank you, Tony.
the most amazing historian of music. He's such a fan of American music. We first connected over Neil Young. And I mean, but the guy, he could just tell you all the people that have performed on all the albums of anything we're doing. And yeah, he's
Can we
just-
have you guys on together
Oh, heck
before
yeah.
we sign off, like in July?
We'd love
To
it.
do an acoustic session here?
You
'Cause
bet.
we do the Blue Mesa Lights, a little rip off of Tiny Desk. But okay, wait a minute. All right, so folks, let's do a little bit of Carrie's music with Mr. Tony Pedrol. This is their version, a live version of Downtown Train. And of course, you only get this exclusive Barcelona musicians at 106.9 FM here. And remember, you can catch the jams live as well at rce.cat. And we'll be right back with Lady Lewis.
Outside another yellow moon has punched a hole in the nighttime. I climb through the window and down to the street. I'm shining like a new dime. The downtown trains are full of all them Brooklyn girls. Try so hard to break out of their little worlds. You wave your hand and they scatter like crows. They have nothing that'll ever capture your heart. They're just thorns without the rose. Be careful of them in the dark. If I was the one you chose to be your only one, can't you hear me now? Can't you hear me now? Will I see you tonight on a downtown train? Every night is just the same. You leave me lonely. I know your window and I know it's late. I know your stairs and your doorway. Walk down your street and past your gate. I'm standing by the light of the four-way and watch them as they fall. Oh, baby, they all have their heart attacks. They stay at the carnival, but they'll never win you back. Will I see you tonight on a downtown train? Every night is just the same. You leave me lonely. Will I see you tonight on a downtown train? Oh, my dreams, they fall like rain on a downtown train. Will I see you tonight on a downtown train? Every night is just the same. Oh, baby, on a downtown train. On a downtown train. On a downtown train. On a downtown train. Oh, baby, on a downtown train.
And speaking of that, you don't want to be left lonely on a downtown train. Oh, you never
If you
know
got a
what's gonna
good book, it's
happen.
okay, but stay attentive.
Seriously,
Yeah.
you never know when someone's gonna be shooting up Andrasanes, and that's the truth.
Oh
Oh my
no.
God, yeah. Let's talk
Ouch.
about something else though.
Yeah,
The
moving on.
music. Okay, the music. Because of the eclecticism of the choices of the music that you do,
Especially with Tony and parlor games.
and parlor games. Why? Well, was there a certain moment in your life where you realized, yeah, I need to be doing some music?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Portland breeds this too. Actually, there's a lot of good music out of
but
Portland.
my mom was a singer as well, and so that's why she was in New York when I met my daddy in New York.
Born in Manny Hattie, raised in Brooklyn, and then out before one. But still, just say it.
Raised for 10
See,
months in
there's
Brooklyn.
always a connection. And
Yeah.
Taurus.
Get some exciting stuff on my passport so I could claim the diva. But yeah, no, so I grew up singing, and I would say that like listening to my parents do their whistle duets and sing along in the car taught me about harmony.
Okay.
Basically, later I was like, why didn't I get to grow up with all those hippies and country people singing around, sitting around and singing and stuff? But actually, in the car, I got a big earful.
What kind of music was it? Like any artists, particular ones?
Well, that my parents were listening to
That
back in those
eventually
days.
inspired you.
Oh, that eventually inspired me. I mean, yeah, I had this beautiful dichotomy between kind of the folk and the jazz. I loved my Sarah Vaughan and my Ella Fitzgerald forever.
Sarah is my favorite.
Ever. Sarah's your favorite?
Sarah's my favorite.
Because she's velvet. She's got those velvet tones like you do.
Anita Baker modeled her voice after her too. I love Anita Baker.
I love Anita Baker too. I love also Anita O'Day.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Super eclectic,
Okay, yeah.
wild. Yeah. I love her. Yeah, Rosemary Clooney. Yeah, there's a lot of ones
A lot
from
of that
back in the day.
jazz bass there.
Yeah, Peggy Lee. I'm a huge Peggy Lee fan.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Straight
I
up.
love a story about Peggy Lee. She was in this nightclub and everybody was talking really loud. And so she just started singing quieter and quieter and quieter. And finally people just shut up to be like, what's she singing over there? What's she whispering over there? And actually, at the end of her career, I think she was only working like with one lung or something.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, it's a whole thing. But her subtlety was well won, I guess. But
We'll call it
was
passive assertion.
I like that. But yeah, that was one side of it. And then the other side, I mean, I was listening to tons of Joan Baez, Judy Collins. I love me some Joni Mitchell. Just all these ladies. And you mentioned her before, thanks to Santa Barbara. But
Emmylou Harris.
man, she my queen.
Honestly, though, and I don't think people. Firstly, she is the most incredible. Her artistry comes out. The aesthetics of her lyrics is that thing. She's worked with so many beautiful people like Daniel Lanois and Brian Eno in recent years.
Graham
But
Parsons.
she's the most classically, beautifully aging woman I've ever seen in music.
Yeah.
It's her and Sade. I would say her and Sade. Just everything ethereal. And when she comes, like Dolly too, she preaches. There's some preaching, very subtle therapy preaching that goes
interesting.
on. And it, again, like Nicole's play last night, no dry eye in the house.
Yeah.
Like I remember my ex and I were sobbing. It's just there's something about Emmylou that she transmits. Even talking about it makes me want to weep, makes me weepy. But those types of artists, everybody that you just mentioned, not everybody, the majority of them are incredible writers. Has writing ever been part of your
Oh, I'm
forte as
such
well?
a chicken about it. Bok, bok, bok.
Really?
Yeah, because
Whoa.
I think there's a part of me that is for as relaxed and like, happy-go-lucky as I might seem. But there's, I so respect a finely crafted song that for me it's like, whoa, respect, And so for me to believe that I can actually, there's a lot of, kind of with all... Although it seems very off the cuff, but there is some serious, what do they call that? Autoexigencia.
Self-demanding?
Kind of
That
thing.
comes from- okay.
And in fact, I think I see it in my brother a little bit too, because he's an amazing recording engineer, lives in LA, and he's also a producer. And he, I think, writes things as well, but mostly he crafts other people's work, I think, because for that same perfectionist sort of quality, and he's been working. I always talk about my brother because I'm very proud, but he's been on Team Doja for the last 6 years and has helped record and produce her last 4 albums. Doja Cat.
I was just gonna say, and
Yeah.
I am so proud of her.
Oh yeah,
Honestly, but well, her and Megan Thee Stallion, because they've also really
Yeah.
been big on getting education, on being educated, and keeping that stuff down. And a lot of people don't realize that about them too.
no, they're
And Doja, money, money, woman, woman, woman. We do play that as well over here. So,
so good.
do you okay? Because everything that we've talked about in reference to music has been more, I guess,
Alternative.
yeah, alternative
or-
roots rock, acoustic. Is there any funk house, disco-y dance electronica that you also dig groove towards? Out of curiosity.
Well, I don't know if you remember in my birthday party invitation that I invited you, and you were not able to come. I understand. We're busy people. But there was also like part of my, I had a kind of theme party at my beautiful Teatro Metamorphosis, which I love these people. They're doing amazing things, and they're
Tantra
revolutionary.
Metamorphosis. Look it up, BCN children.
Incredible. So they're doing incredible revolutionary things over there. But yeah, the party themes were B-52 for some obvious reasons that we spoke about earlier, Twin Peaks, and Parliament Funkadelic, Sly and the Family Stone. So yeah, I take it way back school, old school. But yeah, no, there's some of that in me. I'd like to bring it out more.
It's very
but-
70s too. Everything that we've mentioned about. There's a
Yeah,
lot of that.
well, yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of times, like, I'm obsessed. I cut the very end, but I'm a baby of the 80s,
Yeah.
And I'm obsessed as an historian and history tutor as well with the 70s. I feel like so much came out.
Yeah.
Everything that started in the 60s exploded in the 70s, and so much change has happened from there. As someone who got the tail end of that decade as well, do you think that are you happy that you got to escape the the realities of today? Being like, you're a mom of teens.
Oh,
And
wow.
being a mom
Yeah.
of teens, you see the realities that they're facing in 2020s versus what we did in the 90s.
Oh, heck yeah.
Are you grateful sometimes that you had that kind of innocence
I'm
before?
super grateful that I had that kind of innocence, that my brain wasn't being rewired with the dopamine of the mobiles, the screens, the this, that, the other. And I mean, yeah, it's
It's very real.
yeah. I mean, sometimes I have a lot of questioning of myself. Like, I just need to pick these boys up, and we need to go off to wherever you can go and just kind of live digital free.
Set gases
Set gases.
next to the French border away.
Yeah.
How do you, as a mom, how do you put the parameters on that
Oh man, that is
without
a
causing
whole.
explosions?
That is the whole thing. I probably set a really bad example because with my massage business, I am on my phone like white on rice. I
Making
mean,
appointments,
yeah.
exactly.
And I
have
would
to be.
love to be able to just go like, chatbot, take care of it. But I have a fear that my clients will miss my emojis. They'll miss because I'm trying to give them oxytocin and give them love with my treatment of my clients in the whole booking process and this and that too. So it's hard to set a good example, I have to say, with my kids about the screens when I'm just like, get off your phones, guys. Blah, 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 blah,
I
so
know. When I'm dealing with my uni and batchies and we talk about this, and then they're like, sir, you have 2 phones on your, like, yes, but I got here by my skin of my chinny chin chin. I'm not living at home till 32, which is pretty much the standard here in Spain.
Yeah.
Let's talk really quickly before we had to sign off about Barcelona Women's Network and how people can get a hold of that. And what are some of the things you're going to be planning for this summer and post-summer, if anything, little certain things?
Okay, well, we talked about how I got involved in BW, and it was basically in 2009 once I was
8 years in.
I was pregnant with my second kid, and I was well into the experience. I think at the beginning I didn't want to be around expats. I wanted to be around the locals. I wanted to be like, perfecting my Spanish. I wanted to be learning some Catalan and just kind of in it here. Right. So, but when I was pregnant with my second kid, all of a sudden I wanted to be around more English speakers because I wanted to have English be lived language for my kids, and I also just wanted to be around women who bake the kind of cookies I want to be eating around Christmas time. And these ladies were great. And I think it was great for me to as well to join them in a time when I was more focused on my family life and not just like shoving a card hard into people's hands. Because as we talked about with Victor Orcasitas recently, when I had a beautiful interview with him, I have always been a hustler. And, chinny chin chin, my grandma doesn't live here. So I've had to make my own way in this beautiful town. Barcelona Women's Network, I met them and I saw some examples of women that I was like, oh yeah, okay, I can see in a few years, yeah, like her. She does this really well. They were doing networking with heart. They were really connecting with each other. It wasn't just all about the business. And as beautiful Karen so well summarized in many occasions, but it is a social club with a social purpose. And I now am also opening it too because I have a lot of demand from some of our 65 new members in 2024 alone.
Wow.
We're like growing and we are reaching a whole new population of really exciting young entrepreneurial women. So we're really bringing back as well the entrepreneur or career woman who wants to also have social impact and heart be a part of their mission. So, yeah.
That was a perfectly timed Instagram clip. Thank you so much for doing that. I'm not kidding. 53 seconds to edit in perfection. And it's true, though.
I practice it in the shower. No, I don't. I don't at all. I don't practice anything. Anyway.
I do. Social clubbing with a social theme because the messages and so much of the good stuff that I've also, thank you, I've been blessed to be a part of.
Yeah.
The Barcelona Women's Network and the allies that support, because the idea is really not just inspiring, but motivating, building that commitment amongst women. And why specifically women? Because we make a I'm an ally, but 53% of the population of Catalonia is female or identifies as.
Okay, yeah, look at us.
Which means only 47% have a little like me. Not little, but this is a major factor. And I also have to make another statement about that because this all goes in. You just mentioned the young entrepreneurial spirit that's coming in there. Nearly 60% of our high school and university graduates in Catalonia now are female. It's 57-43. And in the country we were born, it is 60-40 now.
Wow.
60, only 40 men. And so when we look at that and the future of Barcelona, the future of Catalonia, of Spain, it's female. And I love the fact that they have an empowered woman who's a hustler, because you have to be. That's a Brooklyn thing. No, I'm just kidding. It's so important.
Get close to us, you'll understand.
Exactly. And it's so important as well. Is there anything that you would like to say before we sign off to bring on more of these, to add more into the BWN?
Well, for one thing, I like to consider myself network promiscuous.
Amen.
And so I really love my fellow organizations like Mamas in Biz, like Vibeke from Female Entrepreneurs of Barcelona, and of course, everything right now that Victor Orcasitas is doing with the Metropolitan Business Association, because these women from BWN, we also want to hang out with the men. We want to hang out with everybody.
Amen.
Yeah. And so, I want to encourage people from all different sorts of networks to put a Barcelona Women's Network in your life. And you can think about doing that as sponsors. You can think about doing that as collaborators with events and such. But don't, just because you're in one organization, don't forget about us, because we are having a lot of fun. We're doing amazing cultural activities. And we are working with a charity that brings women in vulnerable situations into empowerment, dignity, independence, and autonomy. And I feel that when you change women's position in society, you change society.
It's true. Let's keep it real. Happy women, happy wives, happy lives. And there's an element of that truth, because, who brings who brings the voters into the world? Thank you. Lady Carrie Lewis, this is just the first of many we're going to be having, because we have stuff to connect the TCWL, the Club with Lucas, and BWN. So let's make that happen. Thank you so much. We're going to form out with one more beautiful acoustic track with Lady Carrie and Sir Tony. This is another one of Waits. This is Picture in a Frame.
Yeah, and can I just say one thing about Picture in a Frame
Please.
before we go?
Please.
When I sing this for a public, which I love to do, and now that we're listening to it together, and anyone who's listening to this right now, I like to kind of think of that first moment when you finally put the picture in a frame, that first moment when you have a true soul heart encounter with somebody, and with that message, now listen to the song with a different attitude as we celebrate this first time of you and me.
Thank you
chatting.
so much. And take that spirit, take that energy with you into your beautiful weekends, my people. Remember, you are loved. Keep yourself distant. There's a lot of Omicron going around. I'm just kidding. You are loved, and we will see you next week. This is Lady Carrie Lewis and Picture in a Frame. Remember, you can get a hold of Barcelona Women's Network as well on all good sites like Instagram as well. So do take a look at them at there, and we will be back here, same bad time and channel next week. Picture in a Frame by Carrie Lewis. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, darling.
Bye, everybody. See you on the flip side.
Ciao, ciao. Sun come up, it was blue and gold. Sun come up, it was blue and gold. Sun come up, it was blue and gold. Ever since I put your picture in a frame, I come calling in my Sunday best. I come calling in my Sunday best. I come calling in my Sunday best. Ever since I put your picture in a frame. And I'm gonna love you till the wheels come off. Oh, yeah. I love you, baby, and I always will. I love you, baby, and I always will. I love you, baby, and I always will. Ever since I put your picture in a frame. Ever since I put your picture in a frame. Ever since I put your picture in a frame.